Welcome to the Transformational Soul Show with your host, Ruth Soltman. Are you ready to experience more stability in your life? You can change your life and be who you are meant to be, your authentic self.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Transformational Soul. My name is Ruth Soltman, and we are live right now on Rumble, X, BitChute, and YouTube. So welcome. If you are watching us live, or if you are watching the replay, or listening to our audio, one of our audio platforms, I'm very grateful for you being here. Please hit the like or the thumbs up button. Please share the show information. Very grateful for that. And please say hello in the comments if you are here. I'd love to chat with you. Hello, Carol Ann. I'm so happy to see you here. I invite you to check out my website, ruthsoltman.com. It's RUTH, S as in Sam, OL, T as in Tom, M as in Mary, A, N as in Nancy.com. You can go to my website and find out all about my books, my oracle cards, and my services. If you haven't already, come over to Telegram and join our Goldylocks Productions group on there. We interact daily. Lots of wonderful information is shared. And it is by invitation only, and the link is posted in the show information. And there's also the QR code that you can click on that will take you there. Hi, Miss Jules. Nice to see you. Welcome. And don't forget that Goldylocks Productions has an online store. And you can get some really awesome merchandise, things tailored to, Goldylocks Productions itself, and things tailored to each of the different shows. So go on there and check that out. There's lots of different items, that you can get for yourself. And I also want to remind you about the Goldylocks Oracle cards. Energize. Beautiful, beautiful cards. With different messages from each of the show hosts. So you get yourself, a deck, and you can get a message from us every day. If you feel so moved, you can give a tip or a donation to me via my Venmo or a Rumble Rant on Rumble. Please know that your tips and donations are very much, I'm very grateful for that, and it's they're graciously accepted. Hello, Maureen and Patty. Let me write your names down. And Richard. And Jill and Roy. Richard, Roy. All righty. I want to wish a very happy birthday to everyone celebrating a birthday this week. Enjoy your special day. And I want to wish a happy 7-year anniversary to Carol Ann Carey and her show, In the Psychic Flow. Yay, Carol Ann. And also, welcome to my 250th show. I almost forgot about that. Just remembered. So let's send out some healing light and love and energy and prayers to all those who are in need. Hi, Robin. And let's especially remember Robin McGuire and her son, Carol Ann Carey's daughter, Carrie, and Carol Ann's sister, Jenny, Maureen and Brandon, Jamie and Heidi, William, Tommy, Josh, Harley, Patty, Sarah and her family, Jamie, Patricia, Melissa Parks and her family, Devin, Jill, Roy, Laura and her husband, Tiffany, George, and their family, especially Tiffany's son. He needs a little bit extra right now. Carol, Susan, Bob, and to all those who are in need, maybe some of the people that we know, maybe ourselves, include yourselves in there, or anybody who just needs a little bit extra right now. So we have a lot of shows. Let me just tell you, I have a hard time keeping up sometimes. Sundays through Fridays, every evening at 8 p.m. Eastern. I say evening because it's 7 o'clock for me because I'm in Central Time, so it's still evening. But we also have some daytime events. Twice a month, Laura Romero has her show Angels and Healing Light on Tuesdays at 11 a.m. Eastern. There's a new audio podcast with Marsha Culver called The Mile. If you have not checked that out, please do. It was today at 1 p.m. and Robin McGuire was her special guest. It was an amazing show. And last week, it was Laura Romero was her guest. So check that out because we've been learning a lot about each other. Let's put it that way. We also have Musical Life every Thursday at 1 p.m. Eastern. Alif, the show host, will be back in February. And on Thursdays now at 4 p.m. Eastern, we have Soul Coaching with Joanne Leo. Last Thursday was the debut. Wonderful, wonderful show. I'm looking forward to it tomorrow. So that's really exciting. If you haven't become a VIP, go ahead and do it. Do it for you. For less than the price of a cup of coffee, right? You can be a VIP. There is a special VIP show twice a month. And speaking of the VIP show, it was today. So I'm watching the VIP show. And it was really interesting because life review came up on a couple people's messages today. And as I'm listening to their messages, I'm like, all this stuff that's been coming up for me that I've been going through for the last, probably 8-9 months. I'm like, it's a life review. That's what's going on with me. And then I thought to myself, or I heard, after I realized that that's what's going on with me, then I heard that's what we are all going through to some degree. So I'm listening to the show. And then when it was my turn, I don't remember if it was Tiffany or Melissa that said I was going through a life review. And then Carol Ann responded with, I think we all are. So that must have been the fastest validation I have ever received. Because as soon as I had that realization and, about me and everyone else, it was validated through them immediately. I mean, within like a minute or two. That's how quick it was. It kind of blew my mind. But I feel like, things are manifesting for us that quickly. And, I could have heard and felt, well, that's what's going on with me and everybody else, and just ignored it, right? But I didn't. So we have to really pay attention. We have to be mindful of all the information that we're getting. Because we're always getting stuff, always. So I feel like we are going through this life review as a way to purge any remnants of anger or pain or whatever that we've, experienced that we haven't completely healed. Maybe there's some little remnants of that energy left behind, and now it's coming up because it wants to be released. We're still releasing that old energy that is not serving any purpose for us, and it's not for our best and highest good. So we really need to get rid of that. Now, as we move into the year of the horse, which is actually the year of the fire horse, I just saw that. We move into that next month. So in about a month or so, we want to be free of anything that might be holding us back, holding us down, keeping us from growing and moving forward. And we don't all experience a life review in the same way because we haven't all had the same exact experiences. We've all had different experiences in our lives because we're all different people. Now, the beauty of a life review is to look back at previous situations or relationships or experiences that we've had and see them for what they truly are. Now that we are not deep in the middle of those situations, we can see things more clearly. And we can see them for what they truly are, a learning experience. We can see how we benefited from those experiences and things that we learned from them, even though when we're going through those things, we can't even fathom the idea that there's something here to learn, right? That this is for my best and highest good. But we couldn't see the truth of what it was when we were in the middle of it, because then we had, a totally different perspective. But now, when we look back on those things, we can see it. And why is that? Because the person that you were when you had those experiences is not the same person you are now. After a lot of healing, a lot of releasing and growing and expanding, you can now look back on these things and see them from a much, much clearer perspective. And we're talking about any kind of situation or relationship. Maybe you stayed in a relationship for too long. And maybe from the get-go, you knew this wasn't someone you wanted to be with for a long time because there was just certain things that didn't mesh with you. But you got into the relationship anyway for whatever reason. And you can kind of look back now and see, oh, wow, I can totally see, how I got sucked into that because of the person I was at that time. When we're very young, especially, and we don't have much life experience, we can be easily swayed, right? But having, that experience, there's so much that you learn from it. So much you learned about yourself from it. Many times when we look back, we can also, see the lesson from the experience. Now, another benefit with a life review is that we can see places where we have unfinished business. Maybe a dream we forgot that we had. And by that, I mean, like a dream, like a desire, not, a dream that we had when we're sleeping, but maybe something that like we always had these plans. We dreamed of doing this or dreamed of doing that. Well, maybe somewhere along, your life, all those years, somehow that got forgotten, or that dream just got put on a shelf for a while and it's still there. Well, maybe it's something you would still like to pursue. And that life review might help you remember that. Now, in a life review, we can see the actions of others and the effect that they had upon us, as well as our own actions. So, don't have regrets about anything. Everything happens for a reason. And your decisions and choices then were based on who you were then, not who you are today. So much has changed. I mean, think back to one situation that, when you think about it, or maybe a relationship, and you just kind of shake your head and think, what was I thinking? Because that person and their energy and that whole situation doesn't vibe with you anymore. Because at that time in your life, maybe you were down here, but now this is where you are. Okay. So there's no way, that's going to jive with you anymore. You're not going to be attracted to someone like that. When we have a relationship and we get out of that relationship, it's really good to give yourself a lot of time to heal and, figure out who you are by yourself. Because a lot of times we get lost in relationships. And a lot of times, when we're younger, maybe more so, we're more susceptible to that than when we get older. Because when we're older, we do have the life experience. Hello, Sarah. Boy, I have been so incredibly thirsty. So always let your goal for yourself. Of course, you're going to have things you want to manifest, things you want to do in life, but always have your goal. One of your goals be to be a better you tomorrow than you were today. Never compare yourself with someone else or someone else's progress. We're all individuals. Just keep healing and keep growing and keep moving forward. Now, as we move into this year of the fire horse, there is going to be a lot of momentum, a lot of forward movement, and a true sense of freedom. And that's very exciting. Now, I had, what did I do with this? I saw something because I did realize that it was the fire horse. I thought it was just the year of the horse. I don't know why I thought that, but so what I was reading, which I of course cannot find now to share with you, is that the fire aspect makes it that much more powerful. And I think it's really exciting. I think this is something that we need. This new energy that's coming in. I mean, we've all been feeling this energy. We've been feeling the energy of change, even though we're not quite sure what kind of change it is yet. I know I felt that for quite a while, that energy of change. I even remember talking about it. You could feel changes in the air, not quite sure what that change is, but nevertheless, it's there. So as we keep moving forward and we keep clearing all this stuff out, imagine how amazing it's going to be as all this fire horse energy moves in, right? We're going to be picking up a lot of speed. We're going to be moving forward very, very rapidly, just like that horse galloping. And it's going to be, things are going to be able to be manifested. We're going to manifest so much faster. We are going to, I think it's going to create a lot of clarity for us, because as we're getting rid of some of this old stuff, as we get rid of a lot of this old stuff, we're not going to be so bothered by it. We're not going to be thinking about it because it's going to be gone. So it's going to clear up a lot of things for us. It's going to clear up our energy. It's going to clear up space. Think about all the space that stuff is taking up in your head right now. All that old stuff. And if it's in your head, guess what? It's everywhere else. It's in your chakras. It's in your physical body, your emotional body, everything. So we need to clear all that out, because then as this other wonderful energy is going to be moving in, it's going to bring a whole bunch of new stuff for us, a whole bunch of growth, a whole bunch of change, and it's going to be positive changes. Hi, Pooja. Welcome. Glad you could be here. And I know there's a lot of people out there, and they hear that word change, they're just like, oh, I don't like that word. But it's a good thing. Change is inevitable. That's one thing that is constant in life, is change. Even if you have a decision to make and you don't make any decision at all, that not making a decision at all is going to create some form of change. Because a lot of times people will sit back and not want to make a decision about something because they're concerned or worried or fearful about the change that could come from that. But we have this ripple effect from every decision that we make in our life. And, it just keeps on flowing and going and flowing and going. And that's a good thing. Think about all the people that are touched by what you do. You know, a lot of times, a lot of people think that what they do doesn't matter to anyone but themselves, and that doesn't affect anyone but themselves. But we know differently. We know that our decisions affect, you know, our inner circle, the people around us, whether it's from our energy changing or them seeing the change, and then all of a sudden they're like, oh, wow, I could do that. I could, you know, this is something I've always wanted to do. You know, if she can do it, I can do it. And then it just ripples out from there. It goes on and on and on. Hello, Laura. Write everybody down here. So don't ever be fearful of change, because it's something that is always constant in our life. And, you know, we can fight against it. We can try and push it away. We can try ignoring it. Then we just kind of go with the flow. Life is so much easier. So much easier. And isn't that kind of what we want? We don't want to have, you know, obstacles in our way or blocks that we're stumbling over. We want things to flow nicely. Okay, let's see. So just keep on. I'm really excited about this. You know, once I started reading about this year of the fire horse and all this stuff that, you know, we've known all year about doing our healing and releasing all this stuff. And I have, you know, been hearing that a lot, and I've been telling you guys that a lot. I didn't know why. But then as, you know, the year progressed and I started finding out about the year of the snake and the year of the horse, and I was like, wow, it really, really makes sense. Just like the snake sheds its skin, we got to shed all that stuff, that the old stuff, the stuff that's not doing us any good anymore, the stuff that's we don't have a purpose for. And when we do, what happens? We get this, you know, beautiful, we see this beautiful exterior that's underneath all of that shedding. So just knowing that, you know, that we've been called to do this healing and stuff for a reason, to let go of this stuff for a reason. And now it's, you know, it's coming to the end of that. So this is a great time to completely rid yourself of any of that old baggage that you're carrying around. You know, when you get on that fire horse there and take off, it's going to be less, you know, it's going to be a much lighter load that you're carrying if you let all of that crap go. And then you can focus on all of the wonderful things that you want to bring into your life and manifest those. And we're going to be manifesting very, very quickly. Very, very quickly. Okay. I'm going to see, what time is it? I am going to start on some messages for you guys. And let me just read off my list here. If I missed your name, please let me know. I have Carol Ann, Miss Jules, Roy, Jill, Maureen, Patty, Richard. Oh, I got that one twice. Okay. Robin, Sarah, Pooja, and Laura. If I missed you, then please let me know. Sarah says, that's funny you say horse, because that's the card Tiffany pulled for me on the VIP show. Well, I didn't see that. But I did miss a little bit of that because my boy Jackson was up from his nap. So I didn't get to hear the whole thing, but I got to go back. I missed a little bit. I want to finish watching. It was a great show today, ladies. Absolutely wonderful. You know, the thing I noticed a lot about that show, and something else I noticed about having a show during the day, but that one is a little bit different because it's a little bit different format. It really lifts your energy during the day. You know, you get kind of tired, or you're going just through your regular old routine, and you know, you turn that on and you just feel all that amazing energy, and you're like, wow, I feel great. Good night, Richard. Have a great night. Okay, so where was I here? Okay, Carol Ann. Ooh, Carol Ann. This card is number 28, and it says broken open. And I love this card. It's like a lot. I feel like a lot of stuff you've been holding on to. Maybe, just recently, maybe from long ago. And I feel like something has been happening to kind of help you to release that. It kind of, what I first thought of, or what came to me first when I saw that card and it was for you, was like an egg. Okay, when you lightly crack the shell and crack it a little bit more and crack it a little bit more, and then all of a sudden it's just broken open and everything's just oozing out. And I feel like that's either something you're going through or you're going to be as you are doing some healing. And I do feel like a lot of stuff is coming up for you. And I feel like a lot of stuff you've been releasing. And it feels really good when you're able to release a lot of that old stuff. And, it doesn't have to be the stuff that we're remembering. It doesn't mean that it's, hurtful memories, or it could be wonderful memories that we're remembering that we have forgotten about. Because you know how many memories things that we've probably had in our entire lifetime? I don't know, but I can't imagine all of them being accessible, at any given moment at the same time. Because, our heads would probably explode. But Laura asked, can you keep my beautiful dog Lyra in your prayers tonight? She had surgery done on an abscess in her nether regions. This afternoon is pretty uncomfortable for a variety. Yes, yes, yes. Let's send some loving, healing energy to Laura's baby there. Lyra, beautiful dog. Oh, poor baby. So I feel like that's some stuff that's going on with you, Carol Ann. And, keep releasing it, because once you move into this new energy of the fire horse, I think you're going to be feeling amazing. I think you're going to have a lot more energy yourself. That's my thought. We're moving into that energy. I'm going to have a lot more energy. I'm going to keep telling myself that, and then it will happen. Because I will tell you that for the last many months now, probably 6 months, my energy levels have been pretty kind of low. I haven't had a lot of energy to do stuff, physical energy, or even, just a lot of things I can do just seated. But I haven't had a lot of that mental energy either. I've felt kind of bogged down in a physical sense. I have felt a lot of just so much energy coming in and moving around, and sleep disturbances, and can't get enough water. And that doesn't usually happen to me this time of the year. I usually feel like that in the summer, but not this time of the year. And I have been feeling like that. So I'm sure other people are too. But the energy has been intense, all of 2025. And I remember 2024 being the same. The only difference is it wasn't as intense as 2025. And I know 2026 now it's going to be more intense than this past year. So we just have to keep moving ahead. We have to keep taking good care of ourselves so that this energy can infiltrate our body much easier. And notice when you eat and drink stuff, how your body feels afterwards. Do you have that like awful, gross heaviness feeling like in the pit of your stomach, like, oh, I should not have had that? Or do you still feel like light and, not overstuffed, but satisfied? So be mindful of that. Be mindful of that. Because all of that is going to be helping you to move more into this energy and clear out. That's another thing that I've noticed. I've been purging a lot of stuff. My desk work area is looking pretty amazing. I went through some old stuff and purged, and I've been going through my closet. I'm just feeling feeling the need to do that at this time. So I'm feeling the need to change some things up, in my weekly routine. So that's some stuff that I'm working on, in addition to, my usual stuff. Okay, Miss Jules. Miss Jules. Let's see here. Okay, here's your card. And it's a question. And it's not one for you to answer here, but it's something for you to, mull it over, think about it. Maybe it will help you to make some changes or improvements in your life or your relationships. It says, what boundaries need to be created or strengthened within my relationships? You don't want to let people, walk all over you. And for some reason, I was very guided to give you that card, because that was from a different deck. So here's the other card I have for you. And it's the number 31. And it says, Call of the Muse. Who is your inspiration? Or who are you an inspiration for? Because I feel a lot of creativity and I feel a lot of inspiration. I don't know if it's coming to you or going from you to someone else. Miss Jules says 100% on point. Now, how crazy is that? That's not even the deck that I was using tonight, but I was guided to shuffle those cards and get you a message out of there. My boundaries for family are 0. I've been feeling used up. Oh, I can understand that. I mean, I remember feeling that way like when I was younger, because I would just do whatever anybody wanted me to do because I wanted to please everyone. But that doesn't make anybody happy, especially you. So you have to set some boundaries for yourself. Let people know how you feel. It's okay to say no. Absolutely okay to say no. If you don't want to do something, and that's kind of like a point I'm at in my life right now, where if I don't want to do something, I don't do it. You have to ask me twice. And you have to focus on what you want, not worry about what other people want. And I'll tell you a little further information from your card. It says, to create more healthy boundaries, we must first get in tune with our own needs, desires, and feelings, and believe we are worthy of them. In your relationships, it's essential to know where they end and where you begin, because you don't want to get so enmeshed in something that you totally, lose your own identity. And a lot of times people can do that in different relationships. You're so conditioned to do what somebody else wants you to do that you don't even know what you want anymore. So you have to really figure that all out for yourself, so that you can move forward in your own energy, in your own power. And please remember, it's okay to say no. It might be hard at first, saying no. If someone asks you, oh, could you help me with this or do that or whatever, and it might be really hard to say no at first. But I'll tell you, after you do it a couple of times, it gets pretty much like secondhand. Just like like nature. Just it comes out natural. I have found myself sometimes saying, when someone will ask me, oh, could you do this? Immediately I say no. And then I'm like, wait, what was it you wanted? Because now my natural answer is just no until I figure out how I feel about it. Because you know what? My time and my energy are precious. And they're also priceless. So I have to be the one to decipher what to do with them, just like you do. And I know it's hard sometimes to say no to family members. I get that. But I can remember when I was young and my grandma would have these dinners on Saturday night with all of their church people and stuff. And she wanted me to come over and help her. And a lot of times, I did, and I enjoyed doing it. It was fun. I got to help her cook and serve food and stuff. But then as I got a little older, I didn't want to. And I can actually remember sitting there crying because I was going to go anyway, even though I did not want to go. But I didn't want to disappoint her. Well, I was young, but I've learned since then, and I didn't learn it then, but I learned it as I got older. We have to be able to set those boundaries and to know what we want for ourselves. We have to put ourselves first. Okay, Maureen. Maureen, you got the number 48, and it says, a burst of magic. You're very welcome, Miss Jules. A burst of magic, Maureen. That just sounds so nice, doesn't it? Like a burst of magic. But I feel like you're going to start seeing, you've made so many changes in your life. You retired, you moved somewhere else. And that's creating a lot of change in your life. And very soon, if not already, I feel like your life is going to feel very magical. The way things are going to transpire and come about in your life, it's going to be almost like, wow, is this magic? Because of the way it's going to flow and the way it's going to happen. So, watch for all of those things. Be patient. Be mindful. And it's going to be really, really exciting. And I feel like things are going to happen very quickly for you, to where you're going to be like, wow, kind of like blowing your mind. When a lot of times when good things like that happen, people are like, I can't believe this happened. I can't believe this happened. Why not? Why don't we ever believe it? But something that we see as negative will happen. And we're like, oh yeah, of course I figured that was going to happen. No, only look for the good. Look for the positive, Maureen. And I feel like, you're going to feel like you stepped into one, Emerald City. And I was thinking of the Wizard of Oz, but I couldn't think of what the town was called. But I feel like it's going to be like that magical for you. Okay, Patty. What do you have for Patty? Patty, Roots of Abundance, the number 2. I feel like a lot of wonderful things are coming into your life as well. I feel like you're going to have a ton of abundance in all the different areas of your life. It's not just going to be, like financial. I feel like it's going to be in a lot of different areas. And I feel like this is stuff that you've been working towards. Maybe stuff that you've been working towards that you're not even conscious that you've been working towards. But all of those roots have been planted, and now everything is starting to grow and to blossom. And pretty soon, spring is going to be here, and we all know what happens in the springtime, right? Everything comes back to life. Everything blossoms and blooms and starts sprouting up. So get ready to accept all of your abundance and everything good that is coming to you, Patty, because you so deserve it. Always remember that. You absolutely deserve it. Sometimes we just feel like we don't deserve the best or whatever. We do. We all do. Richard. Ears wide open, Richard. Number 33. Look at that. 2 3s. I love that. Number 3. Ears wide open. Look at those ears. They're huge. But they're at attention, and they're listening, and they're hearing all kinds of sounds. With ears like this, I'm sure that animal picks up sounds from very far away, very faint sounds. And I feel like a lot of messages and information is coming to you. So make sure you got your ears on. Make sure, they're fine-tuned and really tapping into all of the sounds around you. Because, there's information everywhere. Oops, there goes my pen. Richard, that was you. And Robin. I have to start writing a little bit neater. Sometimes I can't read my writing. Robin, oops. Well, look at that. Robin, that card flipped over. Completely flipped over. Because that's not the one I thought we were going to get. So number 30, and it says shining through. Shining through. And, all of the situations, and, I really enjoyed listening to you today on the mile. A lot of the battles that you've had in your life, you have come through with just shining so brightly, brighter than when you started out. And that's such great inspiration for other people. So I hope everybody will go back and listen to that, as soon as it's available. But every situation in your life, everything that happened, you always kept shining. That true essence of who you are kept shining through. Continue to do that. Continue to do that. Keep shining your light, because you have no clue how many people are being drawn to it, how many people are being positively affected by it, and how many people are noticing it. So keep going with that. Keep doing what you've been doing. Keep continuing to heal and uplift yourself, because you always uplift all of us. Oh, I should mention too, the Robin Show Cosmic Soul Food Tuesdays. Tuesday. So that was last night, 8 p.m. Carol Ann, her show is on tomorrow night, 8 p.m. in the Psychic Flow. And Tiffany, Sunday, Spiritual Insight, 8 p.m. Patty says, thank you for the beautiful message, Ruth. You're very welcome, Patty. Now I am up to Roy. Let's see what we have for Roy. Number 45, and it says, beyond the ordinary. Beyond the ordinary. And I feel like they are referring to your life. Your life doesn't have to just be ordinary. Your situation does not have to be ordinary. Make it extraordinary. Extraordinary, right? So give it that little bit extra in every aspect of your life. Because, when you do, it makes things feel very magical, right? That seems to be a key word today, magic and magical. Okay. Sarah. Sarah, you've got lots of new changes in your life. That's very exciting. Oh, you got the same card as Robin. Shining through. Shining through. Remember that bright light, that is you. That is within you. So no matter what you do, that light is always going to be you. So keep shining that light. Keep, persevering. Keep moving forward. Keep setting goals for yourself. Keep manifesting things in your life. I feel like 2026 is going to be such a big and powerful and life-changing year for you, Sarah. Yes, everyone tune in tomorrow for Joanne Leo's show, Soul Coaching. Beautiful, beautiful energy, beautiful show, wonderful woman. Check that out if you haven't checked out her show. Didn't check it out last week. Tune in tomorrow. Robin says, thank you, Ruth. Crazy, I keep getting that message. I was listening to songs on Spotify before your show. The last song was Keep Shining Bright. I love you. Oh, wow. Huh. That's pretty cool, Robin. I love you too. And thanks for sharing that. Okay, Sarah's done. Pooja. We got Pooja coming up. Okay, Pooja, you got the number 27. And it says a grand symphony. A grand symphony. Look how pretty. And I feel like what that means for you is that things are coming together. All these different instruments in an orchestra look different from each other, right? Some are similar, wind instruments or whatever. But basically, they look different. But when you put them all together, they make this beautiful music. And I feel like that's what's happening in your life. I feel like things are going to come together. It might look kind of funny to you, might not look the way you expect it to, but it's all going to work. It's all going to work beautifully together. It's all going to make a lot of sense. It might look funny to you on the outside or just very different from what you're thinking, things are going to look like. And things do a lot of times look different than what we expect or what we think that they're going to look like. But all these things put together is going to be this big, beautiful symphony for you. It's going to be that beautiful. It's going to be like this beautiful music when things are all working together. So I hope that makes sense for you. Sarah says, thank you so much. I love you. I love you too, and you're very welcome. Roy says, thank you for the message. You're welcome, Roy. And where am I at now? Jill. What do we have for Jill? Okay, Jill, you got the number 23, and it says healing the heart. Healing the heart. And I feel like you have some things that maybe they've been coming up for you. Maybe they're still kind of pushed down a little bit, but I feel like there's some inner healing work that you need to look at. You might not even be aware that it's there until you start digging. But as you start, digging that hole, every time you throw a little bit of that dirt out, you're going to get a little further down, right? Just like when we, dig a hole. You take that shovel, you lift out some of the dirt, throw it over to the side. Then the next batch of dirt you get out with that shovel, your hole gets a little bit deeper. So sometimes we got to really dig down there to get to the core of whatever our issue may be so that we can heal it. But I feel that yours has something to do with the heart, as not physically, but as far as maybe heartbreak, grief, um, some something to do with love. Maybe it was unrequited love, when you were young even. Maybe it was, who knows? Only you would know that for yourself, but you have to really dig deep to find it sometimes. And I feel like this would be a really good time for you to dredge that up and heal it for yourself, Joe. Laura. Laura. Oh, you got the number 41. And it says a higher view. A higher view. And what I feel from this card is that you need to look at whether it's a certain situation or just life in general. You need to look at it from a higher perspective, not down where you are already at, but from a different, higher perspective. Whether that's through the angels. I used to get this vision or whatever you want to call it. For a long time, this happened to me, and then it just stopped. It was almost like I was a bird, and I know this is going to sound weird, but I could see through the bird's eyes. So as the bird is flying, I could see everything from the bird's view and how different everything looks. And I felt like I was flying. This is when I was just awake during the day. It's not like this when I was sleeping and I was dreaming it or something. It was a weird experience, but it was pretty cool. But I could always feel like maybe I'd been a bird in another life. I don't know. But that I could see things from that bird's view. And everything looks a whole lot different when you're way up there. So that's what I'm feeling for you. Once you can see things from a higher view, you will get a totally different perspective over the situation. So I hope that helps you, Laura. If I missed anyone, please let me know. I'm going to pull a card for Tiffany. See what comes up for Tiffany. Ooh. Okay. Tiffany, the first card I got for you is the number 47, and it says Sacred Reverence. I just want to show you this. I just think it's so beautiful. But the card that came up for you also was number 28, and this one I've had, I think it was one other time, maybe two, and it was the Broken Open card. So that makes me feel like when I think of now, it's so funny because the same card is someone else, but I feel something totally different from it because it's from your energy. When I tap into the energy of the card with you, I feel like a rawness. I don't know if that makes sense to you. I'm not even sure in what sense the rawness is. But like with Carol Ann, I felt like the egg, and cracking and slowly coming open. But with you, it feels like it's something very raw, maybe very like the surface is, I don't want to say damaged, but like the surface is very tender. So I don't know if this is a surface of an issue, of a thought, of an idea. I have no idea. But whatever it is, it's breaking open. It's going to be coming to the surface for you in a positive way. I want to remind everybody, because, I didn't put this in my notes today, but Saturday we have the Spiritual Message Circle at 8 p.m. Eastern. So I hope you will come and join us for that. That is where a bunch of us show hosts get together, and for a donation of $20 or more, you get to have a message from all of the show hosts that are available that night. And, we usually have, don't quote me, but we usually have about 4 or 5. Oh, I'm sorry. That's right. $25 for the Spiritual Message Circle. I'm sorry. Thank you for pointing that out, Tiffany. You're welcome, Jill. You're welcome, Tiffany. I'm glad you reminded me, Tiffany. See, if I would have put that in my notes tonight about the show, I probably would have remembered that part of it too. But I hope you guys can come and join me. Oh, you're welcome, Robin. Thank you so much for being here. I am very grateful for you. So come and join us on Saturday. That'll be a lot of fun. It always is. Let's see if there's any other announcements I can think of. I'm very excited to see what transpires in the next month, and the next couple of months, and the next few months. It's just so exciting to see how things are changing. And there's so much change going on for people. Like, I would say the majority of people I know have some kind of big change that's in the works in their life right now. And that's really exciting, because that change is going to bring about more change. It's going to bring about a lot of happiness for people. People are going to be moving more into the truth of who they are, seeing exactly what they want, and being able to manifest it very quickly. So, keep going. We're almost out of this old energy, moving into the new. Make sure you're clearing out your stuff. And also, it's not a bad idea to clear out your physical space, right? Purge the old stuff. Get ready for the new energy. If you have any stagnant energy around, mix it up a little bit. You need to, move your furniture around in your rooms. Do that. Put a fresh plant or flowers in your room. There's so many different things we can do to pop up the energy a little bit. So let's all work on that. We want 2026 to be the best ever. We want to be able to achieve everything that we desire and manifest very quickly. That's really exciting when it happens so quickly. I mean, it's exciting when it happens at all, but when it happens so quickly, it's even more exciting. I want to thank everybody for being here. I am very grateful for each and every one of you. I love you all. Have a wonderful, wonderful week. Good night, everybody.